Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company Podcast. I'm your host, Dane Hennen. To my right, Levi Gates.
What's up, Dane?
And to my left, Anthony Fisher.
What's up, Dane?
Whoa, this is nice and formal. I'm really enjoying the vibes here. This whole setup.
Right into it.
Hello,
like
Dane Hennen. Welcome.
Yes, hello. We
So-
got like a new lens on the camera. This is a really cool feel. I'm loving
feels like there's
the
more,
studio.
It feels like we got more room with the three of us in here.
It's spacious.
I've spread it out, like, you know what I mean? When you sit wide-legged and you're like,
It's
Anthony,
like we're on a flight. And,
Yes.
and there's no one sitting in between.
We're in the
us.
exit row.
holy crap, that's exactly what
It's
it
like
feels
when we flew back from the UK last year.
I got a spot for my bag, my Nintendo Switch, snacks, right?
Oh,
what
perfect.
more could we want?
Right.
Thank you for
exactly.
painting a picture for the folks who are
Man,
just
we need to
listening
get on a
and can't
plane.
actually see.
We seem to be yearning for that or wanting that.
Not at
I
all.
think.
I actually no. I'm loving
Okay.
the no plane life.
Okay.
The anxiety, right, has been lifted from me, but sometimes it
That's
kind of makes
nice.
it fun,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Yeah.
like, are we flying out of Colorado today?
no.
Maybe, no. Well, because I'm always expecting the
Yeah.
turbulence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah, that happens. So, guys, what's going on?
Well, Dane, it's a Monday. It's an afternoon podcast. So hopefully you guys like it.
Are you guys
I
feeling
hope
wired?
so.
Are you tired?
A little tired, but you know what would pep me up, Anthony?
What's that?
Hand me
Levi?
one of them Diet Pepsis out of that new air fridge, the Pepsi
Imagine
throwback
that.
fridge.
Absolutely.
Right behind you.
Do you know what the capacity of this fridge is, Levi?
I don't. I think it's 96 cans.
Wow, impressive.
Pretty sure.
Nothing like an old ice cold DP to
Oh,
end your day. Really.
Very excited. Excited
Ice
to have
cold.
that for here. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Dane, can I
Dane,
get
you
you
can
anything?
touch it.
That actually looks really good. I'll take a full sugar Pepsi.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, that's
full sugar
good.
one.
That's good, Dane, because we've been running out of the DPs pretty fast. and
Sure.
So
You know, it's
we
a popular item here at the Rag Company.
I hear that. I hear that. So, for the folks at home who are kind of going, all right, guys, all right, tell us what you're really thinking right now. What's going on?
I'm thinking about how awesome that new air
Well,
fridge
and
is.
here's your can of diabetes, Dane.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward
All
to
right.
the beat us.
so,
Okay,
it's a Monday. We're back in the studio.
It's
Let's-
late in the day. That's
Yeah.
why we're a little bit wonky
So,
today.
let's
'cause
do
normally we record
first
these
things
in the
first.
mornings.
We have to do some.
Let's
we
do
have to
some housekeeping.
housekeeping.
Yes,
yeah,
housekeeping,
yeah.
please.
All right.
So,
Proceed.
would you like to start, or would you like
Well,
me to start?
number one, the Drago's back. If you didn't know that already, I mean, you guys been waiting 2 years to get it back in stock. 2 years.
It's
And we apologize, you guys. We started working on the WoWo stuff when we stopped. We were going to do a redesign. We started working on WoWos. That kind of took some time away. And anyway, we were able to focus again, get the Drago back in action, back and ready to go. We sold a lot of them this weekend.
yes, we did.
A lot of the listeners of the podcast and the live got to watch, see that the Drago was back, saw us talking. You can see him right over there over Anthony's shoulder there.
Very nice. Very
hanging
nice.
out on the new air
Let's
fridge.
Bring one on the table here.
So these have the new brushed terry, which is
Soft.
Yeah, makes this towel much softer. Actually increases the GSM, so it makes it feel, even though it is a 365, it feels closer to a 380, 390.
Is that kind of
GSM.
like where, depending on humidity, there's a thermometer that says feels like, and then
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
like that.
So
No,
just
it's-
a really nice towel. Still
over-
70-30.
Yeah. Overall, everything was just improved. The edging was improved. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, the stitching was improved. The overall feel of the towel. Now, at first glance, right, this looks like the standard terry is what
Yeah.
it is. Until you actually feel it, and you realize that it is softer, it is different. A couple things I'll point out for people that are just getting their Dragos in, right, that have placed orders over the weekend, or who are wanting to order these, right. These are more grippy,
Yes.
quote unquote
Yeah, they're more
grippy.
grippy.
So these actually will remove compound, polish, and waxes even faster than before. That's due to the grippiness, right? Now keep in mind though, right, you want to get a good handle onto the towel when you're wiping, right?
Yeah.
Because it is so grippy, it is going to be doing such a good job because you have more surface area because of the brushing technique that you don't want the towel to crumble in your hands, right? You don't want to drop a towel.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you need to get kind of used to the new style, but whether you switch over your entire lineup of polish and compound removal towels, or maybe you want these for quick detailing, case quantities is awesome. I mean, basically,
Best way to buy it.
if you can pick up a case of these, and these flow well with your shop in terms of color, how they're used, and you just like the style of them, go for it. Jump straight in, because I have Dragos that are going on 3 years, right? When we got the first batch in, and still use them, still love them. I really like the edging because it adds more structural rigidity to the towel, right? So some people only like edgeless, and I get that. But when you pick this up, it tends to hold itself better, right? You
Yeah.
know, it holds itself together better. And so something to check out for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Started with a strong baseline, made it even better.
But there's also an elephant in the room right now. Are we going
Right.
to address that at all?
I mean,
For the people
Okay.
watching?
So last week we were talking, a lot of folks were wondering, when's that clay towel coming back?
Well, some people didn't even know.
They didn't even
we,
know.
Took over
So if you hadn't, you can go
reins.
back and watch the live we did
Yeah.
on Thursday. But here's the deal. Optimum Polymer Technologies stopped carrying the Ultra Clay Towel. They're going through kind of a restructuring that they're doing, kind of reshuffling. And, you know, COVID hasn't
hasn't been helpful.
hasn't been helpful for a lot of different brands, a lot of different companies. So one thing they're doing is trying to refocus the group. Dr.
Yeah.
G is, you know, he had some health problems for a while, but he's back in the business, back in the day-to-day operations of the business. And he had some ideas, you know, when he had that time off to think about what his plan was. So one of those was, you know what, I'm going to make chemicals. You know, some of the accessories I'm going to let fall by the wayside because I really want to focus on what I'm good at, which is chemistry.
Direct the energy into just a few things instead of like everything.
The Ultra Clay Towel was a wicked product. We absolutely fell in love with it.
Yeah.
We hyped it. We were, you know, arguably
we hyped it because we loved
arguably
it.
responsible for the launch of that, and it was really a great towel, great product, great seller. But like all things, we had things that we would have changed, right? So that's one of the things that we did when we heard that they were going to be letting it go. They said, you know, they kind of said, hey, if you guys want to take it, here's what we do. So we ended up picking it up. So now it is the Rag Company Ultra Clay Towel, and we will have it, and it's exclusive to us. You won't be able to find it anywhere other than through Rag Company distributors.
Yeah.
But if you liked it before, it's that plus a little bit of extra goodness.
It's 44% better.
Hey,
Bigger.
we have
Bigger.
a number.
Yeah,
bigger
it's
ain't
basically the
better,
same
right?
towel, but
Sometimes
it's
bigger's better.
yeah,
Whatever.
But it's 44%. So what it was originally was a 10 by 10, right?
Yeah.
That was what it was when it was the OPT towel.
Yeah.
Now it's a TRC towel, and it's a 12 by 12. So you're getting a much bigger, better towel to be able to fit in your hand. I know a lot of you are wondering, hey, is the mitt coming as well? That's in our, you know, pocket for later.
Perspective.
But the point is we wanted to get the clay towel out, and this was a big undertaking to take on the clay towel. And so we made the investment in the clay towel. If you guys love this and there's enough outpouring to want to necessitate the mitt, then we'll add the mitt too.
Yeah.
So, but for now, the clay towel is going to be available. We're going to have it, so just keep an eye on the website. We shipped a bunch in just so we could get it started, kind of get it out to some of our distributors, let them know. And we do have a sea freight on the way that'll be here within a few weeks. And so that way that'll help stand it up. But a couple of things that have been missing from the lineup, the Drago, the Ultra Clay Towel, super excited to have them back in the in the family, so to speak.
And I think a lot of people are just excited that they do have a home. They have a place now. They're not going anywhere.
Well, they're you know, that's kind of the thing that we've always done is we check out the products that we like the most and we carry those. You know, we don't carry everything that's available to the detail world, but we carry stuff that we feel works the best, handles the best by our standards.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's not uncommon for a lot of different companies is they pick and choose the brands they want to carry.
Yeah.
You know, and what they feel they get the best, use out of, or it's easier to stand behind something that you use every day than it is for something that you don't really know a lot about it. And that's the
if
thing.
you're doing customer service on it, having a lot of experience under your belt with the various products here helps a lot towards just making the whole interaction easier. Because if you're playing a guessing game with somebody, you're like, well, I think that acts this way. It's like, well, if you don't have enough experience with it, you probably shouldn't be the one trying to do customer service.
Yeah, well, and like I said, it's if I asked Anthony, hey, tell me about your lawnmower. Yeah. Do you like it? You would tell me what you would like about your lawnmower and what maybe you don't like about the lawnmower. And you'd say,
there's nothing I don't like. It's an amazing lawnmower.
But your old lawnmower, you didn't like a lot of it.
Oh, yes.
So then you bought the new one.
Yeah.
So then that is your recommendation to me going, man, I really like this. It does everything perfectly. And I go, wow, okay. Someone who uses it every day. It's the way that we kind of handle our detailing products is it's stuff that Anthony and I agree on together and use. There's nothing in our lineup that we, don't agree on, and that's just a rule we have here.
Yeah.
So, pretty excited about that.
Oh,
what else you
fair
got,
to say.
Dane?
Well, I just wanted to point out, I don't know if you guys saw it or not. If you're watching the podcast, chances are you've watched the Q&A from this last week, but I really want you guys to go check it out. That's like the new style we're trying to go with. I think it's really appealing. A lot of the production value has been upped, and you've noticed like maybe some new cameras. We've talked about some new equipment and stuff, and you've gone, oh, there's like a delay on the microphone with this camera. We've been working out the bugs, but last week's Q&A was like the first example where we really got everything like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
It's really something to watch.
Felt like a fancy TV show.
So if
felt like I needed a suit coat and tie.
Yeah, if you're curious, I really recommend you go and watch it. If you haven't, go check it out. Wait till this is over, but after, go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was a good time. All right, so let's go ahead and roll into our weekends because lots happened. Right?
Yeah, a lot has happened.
A lot has happened. We did a lot of things, a lot of fun. So I guess to be able to tell the real story of all the stuff, right? We'll have Levi take it over.
Oh, you're gonna have me start
about. How did this adventure start? Right, this journey taking a caravan, as some would say.
Oh, well, it happened when I was hunting on Facebook and looked at looking for truck bed trailer.
Yeah.
Such a great time, feeling young, youthful. Back then, the world was my oyster.
Wait. This
how far back were you going?
Wait, how far back are you going?
I was going like a month ago.
Oh no, I was saying this just last weekend.
Oh, this last weekend. Yeah. Okay. So basically, this last weekend we had the Cruise in Hidden Springs car show. Now, it had been going through a couple different iterations because of COVID.
Yeah.
This final version, they originally scheduled it for this weekend, and they were going to do a car show, but because of all the spike in cases and the need to bump back into phase 3 for Idaho, they canceled the car show. Totally
Which, of course,
fine.
is like, oh, it's disheartening, but you totally get why. I mean,
Yeah. So
obviously don't want large crowds.
Yeah. So what we did instead was they scheduled out a cruise through Hidden Springs, which is a really cool planned community. If you guys are wondering about it, you can go check out, just type in Hidden Springs, Idaho. Get some cool pics of it. It's very scenic.
Holy smokes!
Look at this, guys.
Oh, B-roll.
Go on to the go to the Rag Company podcast channel and watch this. You can see some footage that I shot from the sunroof.
Very nice.
And that's my dad's 34 Chevy in front of me there.
Wow.
But really pretty little town in the foothills of Boise. And we just cruised through, and neighbors were standing outside. We were honking, cheering. Everybody was having a great time. It was really neat to see all the people out. But I think 60 cars, Dane, is what we had. Dane was in it. He was up ahead about probably 10, 15 cars.
Yeah, I think they have my dash cam footage. It won't look as good as this, but this is fantastic.
Yeah, really fun to just cruise. My kids were in the back in the trailer, in the back of Green Bean, because I had Green Bean attached to the back of the Suburban. So people got to see, and the kids were back there waving. They loved that. But started out Saturday morning. The whole PNS team was there. They kind of led the cruise. Then got to the end at the pool house and then handed out gift bags to everybody.
Nice.
And then I pulled over and then went over back to the main city center, so to speak. They have a big park in the middle. And they had a donut truck making hot donuts.
Oh, was it a
mini donut truck?
Okay, so mini donuts.
Yeah,
a mini
really
truck
great.
with donuts or a mini donut?
Mini donut truck.
Yeah.
So
mini donuts are my kryptonite.
So this is Dane driving up there.
Catching up to the show. I'm pulling into the parking lot.
Yeah, Dane's pulling into the parking lot. You can watch this part.
Dane looks like you're speeding pretty fast.
He was. Here comes Dane rolling in. You're gonna see me.
Okay, well,
look, there's Ragnarok with Green Bean on the back.
So continue back. So basically, there's a donut trailer.
So there was a donut trailer and a big grassy area in the. Look at this. This is great. I direct Dane. Oh, well, never mind.
Well, I know we're this a podcast.
I chopped this up, but this is a mixture.
Point is, we got to hang out. My kids, everybody had their masks, which was nice, at least my children. Yeah. Got to have their masks on, play in the grass. Then they all got to sit around, eat some donuts together. But it was fun. It was Kyle Clark and his wife and kids, Chris Woolman, his wife and kids, Sydney Gwynn and her husband and their kids, and then Keith Duplessis hanging out with us. And it was just a good little afternoon. Spent Saturday morning with them, just talking shop, telling stories, catching up. The kids all got to play together, which was a lot of fun. That they liked that part about it.
Yeah.
Then Saturday, came home, just chilled out. It was 100 degrees this weekend.
It was toasty.
You drove up to Salmon.
To
Stanley.
I originally was planning to go to Stanley. I realized after I told you guys Stanley, really it was more like Loman, and then I
that's not
basically
Stanley.
lived back.
Oh, that's not Stanley
That's like
at all.
halfway to Stanley, Dane.
It's the
Not
best
even.
road.
Yeah.
It's the best part of the
It is a good road, and you were right
the
there,
only
so why
point
not?
is to go on that curvy mountain road.
Yeah.
But I'll get to that in a minute.
So, but anyway, just kind of hung back out at home. So my wife Carly went up to McCall with her sisters, and they stayed in a cabin Friday night.
Nice.
And so she got to get a little time to get away. Her sisters took her up there for her birthday. So I had the kids. Carly got home that afternoon. And then we sent the kids to my parents' house to spend the night.
Oh, okay.
So they got to have a little grandpa sleepover. And then Carly and I just hung out, watched some TV, relaxed in the AC, tried to chill out. Sunday morning, picked up the kids, and then I came back home and just took a nap. I literally did nothing this weekend.
Wow.
It was awesome.
No job, no nothing.
No
just
jobs, no work, nothing. Just, because I had planned on my wife going away for the weekend. Originally, that was her plan, was to go the whole weekend with her sisters to McCall. She ended up wanting to do one night, which was totally fine with me. So I didn't schedule a detail or anything like that. And I just wanted to keep it chill. Also, I'm nursing an injury from last week,
Right.
which has just been like, it's persistent and it's hurting.
Yeah.
So I thought better to not try to overexert myself. But all in all, it was a really fun Saturday morning. Was a lot of fun. I like Hidden Springs. I like that community.
It's very idyllic.
It's very idyllic. I don't know if I could live there, but it's the fact that like it was neat to have everything there. The car show is cool.
Yeah.
But what it's done for me is go, can I do a car show in Bound Crossing?
Ooh.
That is a good area.
How do I
for
set that up for one of those? Because it's
There's a
kind
lot
of the
cool
same
cars,
style
on that side of
over
town.
there. It's a little more, but I think there's a little more area to do some stuff with. But I could set something up, and there's a couple restaurants there that could probably help out. So
The plus or minus, depending on how you look at it, is it's more in town as opposed to the other,
True.
which is kind of like disconnected
True.
from everything else.
yeah,
So you might get more people that way.
might
Who
be able to
knows?
do something. Yeah, but anyways, it's just got my wheels thinking. Because it's so close to my areas, how do I do that? So
Yeah.
anyway, but that was my weekend. It was very light, very easy. I do have a detail coming in this weekend, which is a car that I coat just about every year.
Ooh.
This time he wants something a little fancier than what I use because I test some coatings on some of my friends' cars, and
Yeah.
So he just
this
lets
one,
you test stuff on
this
it.
one he's like, I want to go like fancy.
He's going ham.
This time. So I'm gonna see what I can get my hands on to play with his car. But it's fun. It's an easy E-Class Mercedes that is a stone, like a charcoal gray.
Is this like a very obsessed owner who keeps it immaculate at all times, or is it just kind of a chill?
It's just a chill cruiser that goes through the car wash.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but he keeps it very
Noted.
clean.
Okay.
So, so I'm just gonna play around, see what I can figure out with it, and have some fun. So I don't know. I might do CSL and EXO on it. I might see if I can snag some CSU.
Ooh.
Put it on there. So we'll see. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my weekend. So what did you do, Dane? You went to the cruise with me.
I did the same cruise. Obviously, they had the B-roll playing there a second ago. A little later in the clip because I just kind of threw it together from my dash cam footage. There's like audio on it too, but basically it's just going through the neighborhood. But then at the end, I have footage of them handing out the goodie bags and stuff.
Yeah.
So if those guys play that up there, I'm sure they'll get a chance to kind of see that part.
Oh, here we go.
So if you kind of scrub towards the end, if that's possible, that's more like where they're handing
Well, your
out the
dad
stuff.
came for the first part just to say
Yes.
hi, and
he wanted
check
to
it
show
out.
up for the initial part of the parade,
Yeah.
but then he was
He had to
helping run
work.
the store
Yeah.
that morning on Saturday, so he basically diverted from there. But we were kind of joking. We're like, be careful when you pull off from the line because you don't want to accidentally have the whole parade follow
Yeah.
you thinking
No, he
that's
got
the
in
way
front
it's
of my-
going.
He got in front of my dad.
Yeah.
And told my dad. And so
I'm
was
picturing
"All
like
right."
an Animal House situation or something.
You can see the
But
Rag Cobra there.
beautiful truck there, by the way. But just fun cars. It was a nice
it was neat.
diversity
Really good diverse
of cars. I mean, you had everything new.
Well, you had
old
that
in between.
C6 carbon vet. You had
Yeah.
or C7.
The Carbon 65.
Yeah.
That's a 7.
Carbon
yeah.
65, and then you had like a Bronco, there was GT350s, there was a GT500 KR.
Yeah, and there was like a Magnum.
There's a 40
PI
Ford
car.
in front of you right there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some cool stuff.
Bug-Eye Sprite was that little light blue one. Beautiful little car. But lots of fun stuff. It was something fun.
It was a nice Saturday morning drive.
Yeah, just hanging out with some other, like-minded folks, just going out for a cruise. I mean, how can you not like that?
Yeah.
If you're into cars.
Well, it was neat to see all the people.
Yeah, no, and you got to
hanging
see a
out.
lot of folks like waving and stuff. And it's like, if you're not used to being in these kinds of situations, it's fun to get invited or to be a part of it. So, I just thought I'd hop in with you guys.
Yeah.
Now I have a car, I feel like confident in like taking to stuff like this. It makes it more fun. But that was a really, really good time. And I'll go ahead and give it a moment here while we're kind of talking, just so you can see the part at the end where like Keith and Kyle are handing out all
everybody
this
was
stuff.
there handing out gift bags.
What were in those gift bags?
So there was a Cruisin' Hidden Springs water bottle, a magnet, bunch of stickers from us, from PNS and Factor 55. McHugh Sports made Cruisin' Hidden Springs koozies.
Oh, cool.
They had the bag, the tote bag, and then some granola bars and just some
little snacky things.
Eaglet.
Mine may be melted.
An eaglet, some hand sanitizer, just a bunch of little stuff in there. There you can see.
There was a bottle in there, right?
Yeah.
Of a paint gloss.
Yeah, paint
and
gloss
a bottle
was
of paint
in there.
gloss. Yeah. So there's Keith up ahead,
Which
right
is
there,
definitely
and then
something
Kyle
that's,
was helping you, and
And
they're waving you up.
Having the paint gloss is really handy because you can kind of use a waterless wash style when you run across bugs and stuff. Say like when I did my little road trip after that. That would come in handy for that situation. I keep a lot of towels in the car just in case, how it
So
goes.
then you pulled out of there.
Right. I basically I didn't know you guys had donuts. Otherwise, I would have hung around.
You would have flipped around.
Look at me, right?
Filled a couple up.
would have been fun to know about that. I just didn't think to hang around and check. I just saw them like directing people by, and then I saw the cars kind of splitting up and going off their different directions out of the neighborhood, and I thought, well, I guess that's it. So then I continued
and to be
on.
honest, I should have called you and been like, Dane, we're gonna go get donuts after this, but I didn't think about it. I had two kids yelling at me.
You had stuff to take care of, so that's totally understandable. But from there, I decided it's a beautiful day. I want to go for a drive. So I kind of headed out, basically already up by Hidden Springs. So I'm like, I'll just take the wide way around town. I rush up past Lucky Peak here. I sped up the footage, just kind of show the process of getting there.
Dane.
Yeah. There was a point here where I was driving along, and there's a 01 Corvette in front of me, and this bus just stops in the middle of the road, and everybody behind me is just like coming in hot. So I wanted to be careful not to slow down too fast, because there were big trucks and trailers, and I didn't want them to just like freak out and slam their brakes. So that was exciting, but kind of figuring out a way to manage around them. Got along our way. See Idaho City here for people who aren't familiar with the area. It's not big, but at the same time, it's kind of spread out. Like there's a lot of
that's where we went this last weekend when we went up camping. Was just past Idaho City.
Yeah, and there's a lot of little side towns and stuff around there.
Morris Creek Summit coming up onto Edna Creek where we camped.
Yeah, no, that's where you go out camping. But it was beautiful out there. I could tell there had been a fire maybe a few years previous. There were a lot of dead trees.
There was a massive fire.
Yeah,
it was actually
huge.
The biggest fire. It's called the Loman Fires.
I love this pass though. This whole area here is
this is a really cool road.
The road is not in the best of shape.
No, it's not.
There are definitely a lot of tar snakes, as they say, like a lot of stuff in the road, dips and all kinds of that. When you have low-profile tires, it's a little exciting because you're looking, going, okay, when's the one that's going to get me? Where's it going to hit?
Well, imagine the guy on the motorcycle in front of you, how he's feeling.
Oh, they were having fun. There was a couple on kind of a Goldwing style bike, and they were cruising for sure.
Yeah.
But I was trying to give them enough space. You gotta respect folks when they
nice.
go. Don't push them too much.
Yeah.
Nice. A lot of bikers going by. I did find it amusing. A lot of UTVs out on the road. Like, hey, I'm traffic too.
Yeah.
So it was just that kind of weekend. Everybody's out there, probably because they don't want to be cooped up at home right now.
Well,
they're trying to find ways.
Well, and the problem was you go up to the mountains because you want to cool off because it was so friggin' hot.
And honestly, it was just as hot out there.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
When
People
you get
go,
up there, you're like,
I
think it's going to be cool. Nope.
Nope.
It is not. So that was exciting, but I just had a lot of fun. I love going out for drives like that, and I haven't done one in a long time, so I figured, go out there, and I'll bring some B-roll home for everybody to kind of follow along with. So
very nice.
Thought it'd be kind of nice.
It's nice. And when you cruise typically by yourself, what kind of music are you listening to, Dane?
Well, in that video, you probably heard in the background, I have a wide diversity of different music. Everything from Yes, Owner of Lonely Heart, to Blinding Lights to some, oh gosh, it was all over the place. Queens of the Stone Age. Had some, Run the Jewels. Like, it's all over. Maybe Rage Against the Machine. Different things, but fun. Yeah, just, all over the board.
I just didn't know if, like, you were, like, a Seether fan or, like, what you
well, that's
typically like listening to.
Nope.
See, I'm an audiobook kind of guy. I like, when I'm driving, I like to listen to an audiobook.
If I'm on a road trip like that, yeah, probably. But I think when I'm on, like, a drive where I'm, like, actively, like, okay, I'm having some fun shifting through it and stuff, I'm looking for something maybe a little more energetic, something with a little bit of more... oomph.
What pumps you up? What's your driving music of choice, everybody?
Oh, yeah. Well, what do you got?
I used to listen to the Initial D soundtrack.
Initial D.
I ordered it from J-Pop.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Back in 2002. 2003.
Man.
I ordered it online. It was one of my first online purchases, and it was from Japan. So we, I had to get it shipped. It took about a month to get here.
That's awesome.
But it was still, and is still, my favorite driving music to listen to. And it's just the movie soundtrack from Initial D, the movie, not the it's the actual like cartoon itself.
No, it's like
after season 1.
The live action-y one, yeah.
No, it's not live action, it's the cartoon from season 1 of the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
At the end, they did a movie.
Okay.
And it's the soundtrack of that movie.
Okay. Gotcha.
And a lot of the episodes.
It's like Eurobeat on there or anything?
Yep, Eurobeat's on there.
Okay.
Yep.
For me, I think there's one I always go back to. It's a band that's not even together anymore or anything, but it was a cool song, and I like it as driving music. It was a band called Secret Machines, and they do a song called Now Here Is Nowhere. And it's a really good driving tune if you're into that kind of classic rock type stuff, but, they're a band like 2004, 2005. So, anyway, that's probably mine that I like to have on any driving playlist.
Yeah, right on. I pretty much, I have like one album that I'm like, man, like ever since I was like 18, I think 17, where I was like, this pumps me up.
Yeah.
It's the Jay-Z and Linkin Park Collision Course collaboration.
Hybrid Theory, whole thing.
Yeah, that thing pumps me up, man. Like whenever I'm listening to that, I'm like, dude, I'm ready to drive. And but like, because like EDM and stuff like that, I don't really like. I like listening to like the music or like listening to like the bass and stuff. So I don't really focus on like what's going on in front of me, like in terms of like if I'm driving. But if I put on something with some cool lyrics or something, I'll typically.
I find myself singing along in the car a lot. If I'm by myself, I'm not afraid to just belt it.
Yeah, well, there's like those certain songs that when you hear the songs and you're like, I'm giving it more throttle or
it's when you start punching the ceiling because you're so excited.
Or it's like you'll accelerate when like this part comes up and you're like, oh, this is a cool part. I'm gonna accelerate for this, that's always exciting.
I love having steering wheel controls now for stuff like that. The Miata didn't have any creature comforts. Just start cranking it up the moment you're like, oh, here we go, and then just go in.
Yeah, never had that in my life. No. So someday.
I have that with my Camry.
Do you?
It's quite nice.
That is pretty.
I also have paddle shifters, so I also can paddle shift my way through them.
Yeah, so really you can't tell the difference between his Camry and my Jag. They both have paddle shifters. Yeah,
I actually probably keep up with your Jag pretty good because of that.
Yeah. Well, you might pass me, when I wind up spinning around because I gun it too much.
Because that's why a front wheel drive is far superior.
That car is tail happy.
It is. I wonder what would win in a mountain battle race: Dane's Jag or a new Civic Type R.
I feel like the Civic would probably whoop me. I beat him in the straights, but everywhere else I'd be toast.
Who knows?
My Miata, though, I could hang with him because that thing had grip for days.
Yeah. And also a third of the horsepower. So I mean,
I
don't
like
really
no
know.
horsepower at all. But the corners.
But yeah, well, that's nice. I'm glad you had a good weekend, Dane.
I think people just enjoy this kind of like car talk and stuff. So sorry to those who like the detailing stuff. We want to be cars and detailing.
Go to the Rag Company podcast discussion group.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll put a question up there. Give us your driving music. Yeah. Give us your plan.
Include like a YouTube link to the song.
Yeah,
or something
put the song on there if you can. Then we all get to see it. It's a little more fun. I think that'll be a fun little discussion we can all have. Anthony, you didn't move into your new house yet.
No, not at all. So this.
So what'd you do this weekend? Did you pack?
I saw a picture. No. That's all I need to know.
So I go back to last weekend, right? So remember how I explained. We got the house, it's official, it's ours, and I kind of told everybody that I want to start doing stuff to the garage. Right?
You were like, I need to paint it.
I need to paint it, right? I need to do all this stuff.
Get some lights hung in there.
I kind of explained that last weekend, I was going through and I started kind of mudding some of the places, but we were mostly taping and getting things ready for paint because everything was getting painted last weekend on the interior. Well, I started a little bit of mudding, didn't really do a whole lot. So the garage, right, for anybody wondering, the garage is not technically, it's finished, but it's not finished, meaning that it has the drywall and it's got the fire tape on it and it has the mud on it, right? But they leave it like that, right? So it's a pretty standard, they just left it unpainted, right? Well,
it's taped, as they call it.
They taped it, yeah. And so the problem is that when they did it, right, you could still see a lot of the texture from the tape. You could still see a lot of...
You can see the tape.
The tape. You can see the tape, but when they mudded it, right, they didn't put enough mud over it, right?
So it's clearly like a bulge where the tape is.
Yeah. So there's like a bulge, and they didn't really take the time to level out the sheetrock between the areas, right? And typically, what they would do is they would take a big old hunk of mud, right? Glide it along that whole area, right, and seal it and kind of level it out. And the pros are fast at it, right? They can knock out a wall in minutes, right? Whereas a guy that's never done it before, it's going to take me a little while. And so I spent all of Friday evening and most of Saturday mudding and sanding. And so I picked up a couple of boxes of mud, picked up a couple of scrapers, things like that, going up and down on the ladder. And the crappy part is it's not that they just didn't do like the walls, they also didn't do the ceilings. So the ceilings were the worst of them. So I had to climb up a ladder, mudding an entire ceiling, Friday and Saturday morning. And I was just done, man. I had done 2 coats of mud. I had sanded everything down with, I think it was 180 on a pole, and I pole sanded everything. And after doing it for so long, I was like, okay, I think this might be good enough. And I was filthy. Saturday, man, I was 98 degrees. I was sanding in there. I was a mess.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I don't envy you at all.
No. I was so dusty.
How were your neck and your back after that?
Oh, dude, I was just drenched.
Toast.
I was drenched. I drank I think it was 2 gallons of water and I don't know how many sodas or whatever it was just to keep me going.
Yeah.
So I drank a ton of stuff, but I had spent the time trying to get it as good as possible, and then it was Saturday night. I was like, this is good enough, right? Tomorrow is when I'm going to paint. Now, for long-term fans of the podcast, you'll know that probably, a year and a half ago, I mentioned that I picked up an airless paint sprayer, right?
Yeah.
From Harbor Freight, the Kraus & Becker paint sprayer. I got it for washing with O&R because it gives me a high-pressure wash using water or O&R, and it was perfect for something like that, where I wanted to do a wash in my garage without getting the area completely saturated, but give me high pressure because it's 3,000 PSI is what it is. And so I bought that. I have used it probably 10 to 15 times since I got it, right? So not probably enough to justify the cost of it. I want to say that those are around $150 to $160 or around there, right? So they're not cheap. So, but I thought this weekend, put that thing to its actual use, really use it, and paint my garage with it. Sunday morning, had my paint that I picked out. I picked out it was the Bear extra white, but the good one.
That's the really good one.
Like the really good, the Ultra Bear Ultra, whatever it was.
Yeah.
$140 a gallon is what it is, and so $140 for 5 gallons.
Good paint is not cheap,
and it is not.
Is it elastomeric or no?
I don't know what that
latex.
means.
It means it's got an elastic ability so that it actually fills and actually provides. Think of it like Plastidip, like it actually.
If it expands or contracts,
it expands and contracts.
I have no idea. I'd have to look at the label. All I know is that it has the primer built in with the paint, right? Yeah. And so I got 5 gallons of that, and I was kind of trying to calculate everything, right? I'm painting a 3-car garage, right? That's roughly 20-something feet by 30-something feet, right? And I asked the guy, hey, how much paint do I need? He's like, 5 gallons should probably do it.
Yeah.
And first off, he was wrong. My mom told me I'd probably need 8 gallons. I'm like, no, the guy told me 5. I'll go with 5. So 5 gallons of paint, right? The cost of, let's just say the cost of all the supplies for mudding, and then I had to grab some extra rollers, and I had to grab a Tyvek suit because I needed one. And then
looking like Walter White over here.
The crappy part was nobody sold respirators anywhere. Couldn't find one. Anywhere I went. So I pretty much was like, okay, I got goggles, Tyvek, and I'm going to be wearing just a normal mask, right? and I'll just make it work.
You know, we
So-
have respirators here. You could have just taken one
Yeah,
of those.
Yeah,
no, totally
really
spaced
nice
on
For
it.
ones.
many times.
Actually,
Totally
really nice.
Totally spaced on it. So
Had a full face shield.
yeah, there's little everything. Yeah, I know. Oh, they would have
Those-
came back pretty nasty, but
At least
You
20
gotta
of
wash
those
them.
brain cells could have been saved if he had
At least-
just.
Well, he was
hopefully
water. He wasn't killing anything.
Hopefully more than 20. But so yeah, I prepped everything. My mom
Okay.
actually came over, helped me. The prep was actually not as bad as we would think because it was just a garage, an empty garage. So drop cloths all over the floor, taped off the entire garage door. Like most of that wall was actually taped off, right? So
Nice. Yeah.
instead of trying to get intricate about it, I'd be faster to hand roll those areas or brush those areas in than try to tape off every single last thing. That would have been a nightmare. So, but taped all that stuff off, and then I trash bagged the garage door openers.
Yeah.
And then my saving grace, because everybody's like, well, how did you get the rails? How did you get, all that stuff? Got one of those shrink wrap rollers that has a handle on it, right? So it just shrink wrap, right? So I literally just started shrink wrapping everything over the entire thing on every intricate area.
Yeah.
Perfect. And the shrink wrap
Boom.
was $5. So
Beautiful.
Much cheaper than some other guys were like, oh, use tinfoil, use this. And I'm like, God, that's going to get pretty expensive with how much I have to cover. Shrink wrap did the job. Taped off all the lighting, took off all the plates. And at that point, I was ready to go. And so the paint sprayer, since I've been using it with O&R so many times, I know how to use it, know how to prime it. But there is adjustability on it, right? So it depends. So if you want it to go on really thick, as if you were to brush it on, you could have it to where it lays it on like that. If you want it to be higher pressure, more of an even spray, you can have it adjusted like that.
Yeah.
Just depends on what you want. So started in, I made it around the entire garage 1.5 times. Did the ceilings first, did the walls second. And everything was going pretty good. I mean, nothing went crazy wrong. I was more worried that the sprayer was going to crap out on me, because I'm like, because that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I'm like,
sure.
at least for the love of God, let me get the ceiling done, and then you could die or whatever needs to happen because I need to get my money's worth. And so went around the garage 1.5 times. Was about to lay on the second to third coat, and that's when I ran out of paint. And so halfway through, pulled off this Tyvek suit. Again, another 95-degree day. The Tyvek suit was wet.
Yeah.
It was completely wet inside, and it was just disgusting. So went down to Home Depot, got out of my car, started walking into Home Depot, and everybody like getting their carts and stuff like that outside the store was looking at me super funny, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of like looking at me, and I'm thinking, okay, I have my mask in my pocket. Are they looking at me because I don't have my mask on? Like, what's the big deal, right? So I go to put my mask on, but I notice on my black mask, I could see some white transfer that happened. So I'm like, oh, crap, right? So I ran back to my car, looked in my window. I looked like I had just shoved my head in a mountain of cocaine, right?
Wait, do you have the picture? Please tell me you have the picture
I have
to
the
show
picture,
folks
but
at
I
home.
don't know how I can show them.
You can just hold it
Can I
up to
just
the
hold it-
camera because
hold
this
it up there?
picture is too good
You
not
guys
to
are gonna
share.
like this. This is it's worth it. So
It's easy to see why people were
I don't know
staring
if- I
at
don't know
him.
if they can they switch that camera? I don't think anybody's here. Dane, you can hold it.
Oh, sure. We'll just hold that up there.
even
Maybe
know how to do
somewhere.
this.
Here, I'll hold it. You keep talking.
Okay.
They can
I
get
don't-
the camera
yeah,
on
I
it.
don't
It's on the
even
wrong
know.
camera.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, they're
Oh,
moving.
They're working on it.
We're moving.
Yeah.
Any rate, it's
Anyway,
such a great
so
picture,
if the
but
camera's on me, I could show you. But
Yeah.
anyways, so I was like, oh crap, right? So I ran back to my car. I had to wash my face off. There we go. That's the camera I was looking for. So that's what I look like. So
awesome.
just covered. So I was like, oh man. So got more paint. Another $140 down the drain. But I figured I needed extra anyway, so I could touch things up if I needed.
Well, it'll be
so.
nice because you've still got to do the around the doors, and
Yeah.
you've got to get
Yeah,
cutting
because
Yeah, you're not
spots.
done
I
yet.
taped off the whole closet where the water heater was, or that whole area, because I wasn't gonna try to the prep to prep all that and to spray it would have been a nightmare. So I'm like, I'll just hand roll that in and brush it in, not a big deal. So that's when I back to the house, more paint, started loading everything up again, finished everything out, right? 3 coats technically on everything, right? So I did one very light coat, 2 medium, 3 more heavy. So probably overdoing it, right? But the problem is the texture, right, of the walls, and this is where
there's no
it was
texture.
a learning experience, right? There was no texture where it needed it, right? But when I sanded down the drywall, I had sanding marks from the 180 in the drywall. And what that does is it kind of lifts up certain areas and makes it look kind of brushed, right? Where it shouldn't look like that way. So texture didn't come out perfect. It's called a learning experience. I learned. My mom said, well, do you wish you would have rolled it? Not really, because rolling would have, again, taken me forever.
Yeah, and it would have looked
and
the same.
It would have done the same thing, whereas I sprayed that entire garage, probably total cumulative time of spraying, probably less than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and so it was that fast to do it. So I that point, the whole thing was hot boxed. I was dying of fumes. I was literally
water, so no fumes.
Well, I felt like it was definitely heavy.
You were hot.
Whatever was in there was heavy. So I cut down all the garage stuff, rolled open the windows. I walk out of there looking like Walter White, right? The neighbors are moving in next door, and I come out with more white stuff
neighbor.
all over my nose. And I come out in this white suit with this hood on, and they look over. I'm just like, definitely not cooking drugs inside this this garage right now. So, but that was all good. And at the end of the day, my neighbor across the street came up and talked to me, and he was really nice, kind of introduced me to the kind of the neighborhood, kind of give me the rundown, because I said, hey, give me the dirt, what happens here. And he said that before all these homes were built, since that was just one straight road, he's like, people used to drag race down this when these were all country homes, because he had been there for like 10 or 15 years, and these houses that went in right across the street from him have been there for 5 months, right?
Yeah.
And so he gave me a rundown, kind of told me all the dirt. He said, no crime, nothing like that. He said, the occasional jackass will, drive quickly down the street. He's like, but I'm the guy that runs out with my phone waving it. And like, I'm taking his picture. I'm like, oh, you're that guy.
Yep.
I've seen those guys. And so
he didn't see your cars yet, did he?
No,
because he would probably jump to some conclusions if he did.
He was super cool. What was funny is he's like a ponytail, right? He looked kind of like Jesus, right? And
nice.
What was funny is that he was kind of giving me more of the rundown, and he was like, he was telling me about this piece of land that's kind of over catty corner to us that is like unowned by anybody, but he's been maintaining it for the last 10 to 15 years.
Nobody at all owns it?
Apparently the school district owns it technically, but they don't know they own it, right?
Oh,
and
weird.
Nobody's ever asked questions, and the school district doesn't know how to get to the water turned on or anything like that. So he's been maintaining this piece of land.
Wow.
It's a little grassy area, right, with perfect grass, a tree, bushes, and all this stuff. He's like, I fertilize it, I mow it, I edge it. He's like, and I've been doing it for the last 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
And I said, oh my God. And
so this guy kind of keeps himself busy like that.
A
little bit of a busybody.
So his house, the house across the street from me, 5,600 square feet, right?
Yeah, monster.
Well over an acre. His backyard is the size of 3 football fields.
Holy.
And it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
This was all big lots and farmland, and then they basically said, hey, we're gonna put a bunch of houses right here across the street.
Basically what Boise real estate has been in a nutshell is, that farmland looks nice, let's develop it. Then
let's see how many houses we can put on that.
So
there's an old man by me
that
him and his wife both passed away. The kids sold the house and the property. The property was an acre right across from Bound Crossing, right across the street on Boise Avenue.
Yeah,
the house was built in the 30s. Had this massive sycamore tree. I mean, just it's been there forever, and they have completely demolished it, and they have now created. They've created a new driveway and added out plots. They're going to put 8 houses on that person's yard. And Carly and I have always been like, dang it, we should have bought that piece of land, because it was such a cool spot. It's literally right across the street.
In terms of Boise real estate, that's
kind
what they
do.
Like gold right there.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Someone's going to develop, put 8 houses on there. They're going to sell the 8 houses, and it's going to make a mint.
Why put 1 when you could put 8?
Yeah.
But
he kind of went a little further, so he said, that plot of land, no man's land, and he kind of gave me a rundown. He said back in that field, back behind there's another church. He's like, there's a school for troubled children over there, but he's like, don't worry, we've never had any issues with that, because how many troubled children are hanging around school? And I said, that's very true. And so
killer logic.
So he's like, but there's never been any theft, crime. He's like, overall, everybody's super nice, everybody's super friendly. There's a lot of people that walk their dogs, and there's a ton of people. It's a very active place.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, well, this is kind of weird. So if I'm ever taking any pictures or if I'm ever taking any potential video stuff
have an audience
for any reason whatsoever, that's going to look kind of weird, right? Compared to how I have it now. But
what's up, guys?
Yeah, it's Anthony from the Rag Company. Welcome back to the show.
You know, because we shoot a lot of videos in your driveway.
Yeah, of course.
You've all seen them.
And then, so really nice guy, super cool.
Yeah.
I felt like he was passing the baton to me, right?
Oh,
You know,
very
like I
nice.
felt
Yeah.
like he was giving me all the dirt.
He's like, this is my riding lawnmower. This
And-
is my fertilizer. You will be taking care of this land now.
Yeah.
That's what your job's going to do from now on.
No, and so that's when he says, yeah, so, but we're putting our house on the market next week. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I just got invested in your story, man.
I'm like, you just built me up. Like, I got to know you really well. Like, and now you're leaving me? Like, immediately?
You're going to have to go talk to him about the lawn and the regiment.
this
that you
plot
need to
line
do.
took a turn.
This is what he told me, right? Because basically there's an access road that would go into another field next to his, right? Kind of catty corner to us, not directly in front of us, but there's an access road there. He said, so that access road and that lot behind here was supposed to be an elementary school 20 years ago. They've never built it, right? And they don't know if it's ever going to be built. So he's like, that for the most part is just a lot of land owned by the school district. So he's like, but this access road, as you can see, I park my trailer here, my truck, my kids park here, my other kid parks there, right? And he's like, I've been doing it for so long, for like 10 years, that nobody's ever asked a question. They always assume it's just my land back there, and I've never told them otherwise. And then that piece of land that I told you I maintain, they also think that's mine because I've never told them otherwise. But he's like, I don't know any of that. I just maintain it. So he said that once he leaves, he's like, I need to fix a sprinkler over there on that nicer piece of land. It's in somebody else's hands to maintain this.
Oh.
And he kind of like looks at me, and I'm like,
Dude,
well,
I just met you.
yeah, I'm like, well, that's a big responsibility. He's like, well, maybe you can talk with the neighbors here because you guys can continue to make it look nice.
It's a little park.
Well, I'm like, is this some like King of the Hill crap? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, be
Bobby,
maintaining this unowned piece of land?
Okay, now you have to wonder
but
what's
that could
going
be
to
fun.
happen.
Just think about in like 10 years,
Yeah.
you and Katie have a little boy or girl,
Yeah.
and they're mowing that lawn.
Well, apparently there's something called like squatter's law, right?
There are
So
squatters' laws.
Okay, that's where I'm going with this.
Put a tent
what do you
on there.
do when somebody buys?
I say this is mine now.
But like, okay,
Nobody
think of it this way:
questioned me.
somebody who's like interested in his house, his
Yeah.
property, they're looking at it online. They're like, oh, okay, he's selling this. Oh, looks like he's got a lot of stuff going on here. They just assume the other stuff belongs in it, and like, wow, that's a good price for all that.
they'd
It's
get a
not
zoning.
clearly delineated, but
No, it
like,
is.
what happens once that's marked? I know the city knows, but once that goes through, then what happens to that other stuff? Then they're forced to actually like take accountability for the other land.
Might
The school
not do
district has to
anything
do
about it.
something happens.
Point is, now that
presumably.
area is getting developed. Anthony, stake your claim, get
Yeah,
your flag.
I think
You're in
I
a good
have-
spot.
I
Your
think I
house
have
is only
to.
going to go up in value now for sure.
Well, so the house. So I wasn't gonna say anything. The house. So that guy's selling his house for $1 million, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy crap!"
You're like, cool.
That's not what my house costs at all. I'm sorry that I'm across the street from you, but thank you. That sounds awesome.
You got to look at his house. He has to look
Well,
at yours.
and his house is beautiful, so I hope whoever buys it takes care of it. And I will be looking across at my piece of land over there with my flag in it, waving and saying, "Don't think about it. I own this now."
You're
So-
going to have a riding
Get a
lawnmower
flag
before
for,
long.
for your house.
Yeah.
And then another flag made for that piece of property.
Well, I need
Yeah.
that parking area too.
that
Yeah,
way-
that's what
that
you
way-
really want. You're
that
like,
way
build
you
a
have
shop
the
out
flag-
there.
That way you have the flag flying from your home.
Yeah.
So then when people go by, they're like,
Oh, that's his. yeah.
that's
They're
his.
connected.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
so he has a trailer that he parks there, right?
Yeah.
It's like a whatever it is, an 8x10 trailer.
Perfect.
It just lives on that
Yeah.
road.
When you
right?
borrow Green Bean, it'll be a
And-
perfect spot
and
for
he's
him
like-
to hang out.
And he's like, "Yep, nobody's ever asked." He's like, "That trailer's been there for 10 years." And I'm thinking to myself, well, down the road, if I ever get a
Parking
trailer,
my trailer there.
to tow around a race
That's
car or
where it
motorcycles,
goes.
I'm like, that's where it's gonna go, as long as nobody, questions me, and it's extra parking overflow or whatever I call it. So, but really cool. I was glad to get to know the neighbors. Then there's the neighbors next to me that started moving in. Kind of weird, but like the dad, maybe this isn't weird for some people, right? Dad was in good shape, got 2 kids, boy and a girl, right? Got his wife. But he was unloading everything with his shirt off. I mean, he's kind of jacked, right? But it was just kind of strange because like he's walking around with his shirt off, and I'm not weird about that. But like even when I was in my best shape, that wasn't something I really did. But this guy definitely looks like the kind of guy that like oh, we're taking shirts off. Okay,
like he's the he's the first guy. He doesn't even ask. He just looks around. And he's just like, I'm getting the vibe that
I've known many people.
It's
like
the guy's
that.
like, here's my chance.
Well, I just have that feeling that if I walked outside without, let's just say I go to pull the trash cans in, and I don't have my shirt on, he's gonna be out there like trimming something, and he's gonna look over at me and be like, oh, shirt's coming off, right?
Yeah,
we're doing shirts off.
Shirts off.
No,
shirts
bro,
and skins.
I don't want to. I'm not trying
on
to
the
flex
other end
on
of the
you.
spectrum, there's the where's the shirt in the pool guy over here. So,
yeah. So that was kind of strange. So I didn't feel comfortable going up to him and introducing myself yet because I kind of felt like
he was shirtless.
Like he was shirtless. I'm like, I don't know if this is how you want to meet me for the first time.
Well, also the obvious pandemic situation. Like, I don't really want to get too close to you right now, bud.
Whatever.
It's a good excuse though. Like, no, you're good where you are, bud.
Yeah. But no, so I really like the neighborhood. Really nice. I'm pretty happy that I got to meet the guy even though he's leaving me, and
he's leaving.
And now I'm gonna go stake my claim.
Yeah, like I said,
grab my land.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a company that can make you custom flags.
Yes.
Large flags that you could hang from your home.
Yeah.
Maybe like a sigil, like your house sigil.
I mean,
like the House of Fisher.
This area is pretty big that I'm talking about, and that's what I'm trying to explain. So when he told me
four flags for all four corners,
he's been maintaining it for so long, it didn't even make sense to me. I'm like, you're crazy. Like, well, you've been maintaining this? Like, the trees are beautiful over there. It's like a oasis.
It's a little park. It's a little park he built.
Man.
Holy crap. I'm like, that's so much work. And he's like, yeah. And I can tell that he's aged from it, and he needs somebody youthful to take it over. And I'm like, well, sir, I just have a small a Honda push mower.
Nobody asked him to do that. That's the part you have to remember. He just chose to do that one day, and that's the way it carried on.
Just how nice it'll be when you can take your beautiful golden retrievers over there.
Yeah.
When you're mowing that area.
I don't even know what his sprinkler system is attached to. He literally has full sprinklers over there, and I didn't even care to ask. I said, well, wait, that doesn't make sense. Where are these plugged in at?
Where's the controller?
How do you run these things?
How do I get it onto mine?
you need to mow the property like he has, except you're going to strategically go a little bit deeper on the blade when you go around certain areas so that it forms for satellite photography. You have the ability to say, this belongs to Anthony. You can just write it in giant letters in the grass.
Well, I was thinking I could just park in that unfinished street, and I could take cool photos or just do like reviews over there someday, right? Like I can
park in the grass.
Park in the grass, right?
That's gonna look like wash bay.
Oh my god!
New trashy wash bay.
Like what I have at the
MOSHQ. Matt, you got your pole barn? Well, look at this.
Yeah,
no, it's beautiful. It's idyllic.
Yeah.
It waters the lawn. That's what I do. You just find one of those sprinkler heads.
Put a hose on it.
Look up your pressure washer
when he's driving through the farmland, and it's just Anthony's out in one of those fields in the background. Like, so this is my car.
Yeah, and so
perfect.
I'll have to figure that out.
I'm very excited to see this land.
It's just really funny. But because I had seen people like set up little picnics underneath the tree there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that looks like nice, like a nice
area.
thing. So, but now I'm thinking, okay, well, is that something that, hey, get off my land. You can't picnic here. Or do I do it for the community? I don't know.
I think he's been doing it for the community, and that's going to be your torch to bear.
Yeah, don't be
from
selfish
then on.
about
But
it.
you want to make sure that you're mowing the lawn so that the neighbors can see you and then look intimidating while you're mowing so they know that it's yours.
Yeah.
And that
Start
way they're
mad
like,
dogging
oh,
them.
man, Anthony over there is mowing the lawn. Wow, did you see Anthony's over there mowing the lawn? Oh, he's over mowing again. Well, and then if they come over and ask, they're like, hey, I see you mowing all this. And you're like, well, yeah, I own it.
It's mine, yeah.
Why wouldn't I? And they're like, oh, well,
No.
we had a picnic here the other day. We didn't know it was
You
that
legally
cool
cover
yours?
yourself by saying, I feel like it belongs to me every time I mow
No, you
this.
just
And they
say
go,
it's-
what's that mean? You go, I feel like it
You
belongs
can just
to
say
me
it's
when I
yours.
mow
You don't
this.
have to tell them anything.
So I think really, though, the squatter's law situation is that if you claim that you own something and nobody challenges you that you own it and you maintain it and take care of that for I think it's 10 years or something like that.
That varies by
I think-
state.
I don't know, check in Idaho, right? Legally, I think you could go to court and say, hey, this is my land. I maintain this, and nobody has questioned me. Is anybody wanting to challenge me on this? And like I said, this freaking school district didn't even know that was their land, right? So if they'd say, does anybody want to come claim this? You're going to be like, oh, no, that's not ours. Sure, he can have it. I'm going to have a nice little piece of...
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd do it. I'd
basically
take it. If I had
treat
that
it well.
opportunity... Like, I was looking at my neighbor's yard across the street from me. He's got a probably half acre and a house built from the 20s. And that's it's 5 years. They're
Holy
saying,
crap! That I can do this, guys.
Wow.
Nobody challenged me on this.
So apparently the other guy just owns it now.
he owns it.
he does.
He should sign a bill of sale when he leaves. Say you buy it from him for $1.
Do you have the deed to this property? No, but I
Holy
should.
smokes! I'm definitely
sale.
going to. Everybody, just stay quiet about this for 5
Well,
years.
that's what I was going to say. So when you're doing this kind of thing, when you're taking care of this property a few years in the future here, just be cool, be chill about it, because the more people like you and your involvement with the land, the more they're going to want to keep you around when you're doing that stuff.
Yes.
So as long as you're not like a cranky old jerk
Like I
who's
said, stake your claim
calling
now.
attention to yourself in a negative way,
Mow
they're
the
just going to
lawn
let you have
so that everybody
lawn.
knows and can see you mowing the lawn.
Right, yeah.
You know,
It's all about being visible.
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
be
start
visible.
hosting like little family
But not
events
too
over there,
visible.
Yeah.
right? And so like when people walk by, they're like, "Oh, he's over there quite a bit." He must,
Park the Civic in the grass every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just
This is a classic case of act like you belong, people.
Yeah.
well, it's act like you know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that was pretty much the weekend.
Very excited
so,
about this.
So end of that, came home, and then rest this week we're going to be continuing to paint the interior because almost everything's done, almost everything. And then this weekend we are going to start moving some stuff, and so I got to rent a U-Haul, and we're going to try to move all the big stuff, ideally. We need to figure out how soon we can get these dogs into the house because the grass finally rooted, which is cool, right? I'm pretty stoked on that. But when we're going to be officially like saying we're living here, right? Because that's the problem, because we don't know when we are going to be fully moved in to the point of we can function there as I don't know.
When you said you've got people like walking up the trails with their dogs like near your house or whatever and going into your yard. It's the other classic case of people let their dogs do their business in your yard and then try to walk away like nothing happened.
Oh, no. Literally, I forgot that's the downfall of having a front yard, right? Is that you see everything that happens,
Oh,
right?
this is a nice yard. Don't mind if I on it.
So just on Saturday and Sunday, one dog crapped on the lawn on Saturday, another dog crapped on the lawn on Sunday, and I see it as it's happening.
You got to put a fence up now.
No, and they're always like, "Oh, sorry," and I'm like, "Well,
Then they don't do anything to fix it.
How about you pick it up?
Walk away.
I'm like, "Well, they do, right?"
Oh, okay, good.
Put the dog on a tighter leash because they're letting the dog wander, right?
Right, yeah.
And so,
you like this grass.
and
Here
so
you go.
I'm like, if this keeps happening, right? I'm going to make it to where I'm going to say like a sign that says tighten your leash because I get it.
No pooping.
My dogs crap on
Poop-free
lawns
zone.
as well, right? But I will do my best to try to get them or pick it up immediately before anybody sees it.
Well, like the neighbor down the street from me that the boys from Color Lock stayed in their Airbnb.
Yeah.
They have lots of signs that say, please no, this is not a toilet for dogs.
No
Just
way.
pick up after
And they
your dog.
literally have like a no, and it's a dog like squatting and it says like, please do not. And what they do, they built a fence.
I was going to
Really?
say, does your front yard have a fence?
In the last 2 years, they created a fence for their front yard because they were tired of the dogs.
I'm not
using
gonna.
it,
I'm
so.
not gonna go that. I'm not gonna go to that extent. Well, let me just say, like, I'm not bothered by that. I get that that happens, right? But
Well, you're a dog owner.
I'm a dog owner. I totally understand. But I think that if anything, I don't know. Try to take your dogs to go to the bathroom before you go on a walk or something like that, if they can go, right?
Yeah.
Because,
Well, usually like my dog, as soon as we get to the first yard, I know he's pooping.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Well, and then it's have your bags handy
Yep.
or whatever it is. And the other thing too, if you decide to walk your dog, knowing damn well that he may poop, right? You need to know that you're going to be carrying that around, right?
You need to
And
plan where the
you need
trash
to
cans are.
Plan where the trash cans are. You're carrying that around because if I see you try to drop it off anywhere near my house, I'm going to be pretty pissed.
Yeah.
I'm
My
gonna
dad-
I'm going to huck that bag.
So my dad,
at you
so
or light
my
it on
dad,
your porch.
so my dad did that. We lived in a trailer park back in the day.
Yeah.
And a neighbor dog used to come in the morning when my dad would be outside warming his car up. The neighbor dog would come over and poop in the yard. And the dog's name was Muppers.
Muppers.
And the neighbor would be outside smoking a cigarette.
What kind of a name
Muppers.
is that?
People
I
who live
like
in a
it, though. I like
people who
Such
live
a
in a
dog name, but at
people
the
who
same
live in a
time.
trailer park. So
Oh, boy.
this guy's sitting out there smoking his cigarette in the morning, and he's like, "Hey, Brad, don't worry, it's just Muppers." And my dad would be like. So one day,
Mupper
my dad
fupper.
went through and scooped up, and we didn't have a dog.
Yeah.
And my dad went through and scooped up all the poop in the front yard, threw it on the guy's windshield of his car when
Yeah.
he went out to warm it up.
Oh, no.
And my dad was like, the guy was like, what are you doing? My dad's like, don't worry about it, man. It's just muppers.
It's just muppers, man. Oh, that's Brad.
One of my dad's favorite stories to tell is the day he threw a whole shovel full of dog poop on a guy's car.
That's like when you take being passive-aggressive and you're just like, I'm just going to shift the column way over into the aggressive side.
Yeah, the best part was we had already sold our house, so we were moving, and we were moving into his current place over here on Collister, and that was, it was a big, proud moment for my dad. To be able to really move out of the trailer park.
Crowning achievement.
Yeah. He, christened it.
Glad to know I went out on top.
Nice shovel full of dog poop on the neighbor's car.
Yeah, man, this podcast really does cover everything.
Really great events.
Yeah, wonderful.
But I don't know. I'll need to get used to the whole, because
being a landowner?
Well, for the people that don't understand, my current house that I'm in right now, it's an alley load garage driveway, right? So meaning that I have the front of the house, but then my driveway is on the back of the house, going into the back of the house, 2-story, right? Only has side yards, has no backyard, right? It has a front yard with grass and all of that. But in that neighborhood where, it's so quiet and there's nobody that really...
Now you have a backyard.
It's not really that active, right, there in my current neighborhood. So that's why this new house, I'm like, it's back... Like me growing up, I have a driveway.
Now you feel like you're in a house.
And now I have like this, what feels like to be a house. But now that I'm seeing all these people walk by, I'm kind of like, ugh.
That's the trade-off, though.
Why are all you people walking so much?
No, it's like that's the same with me. We moved from a townhouse, alley load, rear garage, and I had a front yard, a side yard, and a very tiny backyard.
Yeah.
That was basically like the path to the back garage.
To the garage.
And we moved into our house, and now we have a large front yard. I have a RV pad on the side of the house, and, it's very different, but it is fun because I look at Augie, and he's just drawing on the sidewalk or on the driveway. He's riding his bike across, it's weird to go, oh, that's cool. Like, he gets to do that. Like, I had that at my dad's, like, playing in the driveway with friends, riding bikes up and down the street. Like, it's just kind of fun to see
being formed right now.
Yeah. So I'm excited for you guys to get in there.
So, So I'll let you know, keep you guys updated. I did have some people send me different flooring and things like that, which is super nice. So
hit it up on the podcast discussion group. Get organized, Anthony, hashtag, and send your ideas for Anthony's 3-car garage build plan.
Thank you.
And how we're going to do that.
Appreciate it. All right, so we hit an hour, so Dane, take it away.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to do what I've been doing after a lot of these, which is tell you to go over to the FAQ channel. If you're not already aware of it, I'm telling you right now, you want to be aware of it. You want to go check out the Rag Company FAQ. That's what you got to search when you go looking on YouTube. It is a different channel than this one. So, just so you're aware, head over there, subscribe to it, and you should be able to get your questions answered. And if you look through and you don't see your question answered yet, like you're thinking about something, you really wish that we would just do a nice, direct, simple video about it, leave a comment in any of the videos on there. We'll see the comment, and if it's something we feel, we can make a video on that, we'll make a video about it eventually. Maybe not right away, but eventually. And that's the whole process. It's kind of user-generated, but in a way, that's the way it should be because you guys are the ones with the questions. So we want to help facilitate that, and that's the best way to do it. So in addition to Q&As, that's the move. Any rate, with that said.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, like I said, with that said, let's get out of here.
We'll see you Thursday.
See ya.